Welcome back. We're here with travel expert Brian Kelly, who runs the Points Guide travel website and blog. And now Brian says we should embrace the new travel. It's less stressful, he thinks. Humanity has returned. People, in some cases, rallying to follow the rules. And Brian joins me now from his home in New York City. Brian, thank you so much for joining us. Why is it less stressful? I would think it would be more stressful. What makes you think that we're going in the opposite direction of that stress level?
Well, Tamron, I flew 2 weeks ago from New York to LA, and the airports were empty. TSA took approximately 1 minute. And, it is a little concerning because shops and restaurants mostly are closed, but it's a breeze to go through the airport. And I found passengers to be listening to the rules as far as boarding the plane and generally being cooperative. So I actually think it's quite a nice time to travel.
Well, it's interesting you say that because I've heard kind of opposite anecdotes. I mean, you see that the airlines have not agreed upon one rule across the board. There was someone kicked off recently for not wearing a mask. And the rule of a seat in the middle that we heard so much about in the beginning, that's becoming less and less the case as more people fly. We want to see the industry get back on its feet, certainly, but I feel like we're hearing a hodgepodge of things.
You're totally right. So first off, with blocked middle seats, only a few airlines are doing that. So if you want that extra space in economy, you should book on airlines like Delta, Southwest, JetBlue. Other airlines are selling flights full. So not all airlines are the same. And then as far as people wearing masks, certainly there's always going to be outliers. But airlines are now saying if you don't comply with their rules, which include a mask, you might get banned for life. So they are putting some heft behind making sure people do follow the rules.
Okay, prior to all of this, a lot of people had their miles on hold, and now you're looking at your miles and you're looking at the landscape. Do you recommend using your miles to upgrade now or using them at all?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm the points guy, so I would be remiss to advise people. Business travel is not returned. So first class cabins are empty and you can use those miles to upgrade. You get a lot more space in first class. You're probably not going to get the full experience because airlines are stopping alcohol service. So people have to use the restroom less and are less rowdy. But, these days in flying, it's all about your personal space and being around less people. So use those miles to upgrade for your personal health, not just for the comfort.
Now, I know you were supposed to travel to Iceland this week, but your trip has been postponed. If people work up the confidence and say, listen, I'm going to go ahead and travel, do you recommend just bracing yourself for the possibility that this is still very fluid?
Absolutely. International travel in summer of 2020 can still happen. But the thing is, the rules are changing by the day. So several weeks ago, Iceland said, hey, we're going to open to Americans on June 15th. So I booked a ticket to arrive June 15th, but several days prior, they canceled all flights from the U.S. and then pushed back that delay. So my number one tip is don't book non-refundable hotels. Even flights nowadays, they'll let you change for free. So give yourself the flexibility. And this is where using frequent flyer miles can be great because most airlines have waived the fees to get your miles back.
What about cruises? At the beginning of this, we talked to and heard some of the most heartbreaking stories from people trapped on cruises who were concerned about having to cancel and just all of the layers that came around the anxiety of this pandemic really, in some cases, brought our attention to the cruise industry and how susceptible it is. What's happening now?
I think the big thing that will allow cruising is testing, where there's accurate and plentiful tests so that every person who goes on board, they know or not, if they actually have COVID. I think once they get that down, they can create a safe environment on cruise ships. But I'm realistically looking at a 2021 timeline for cruising.
Wow. Well, listen, obviously the travel industry is a big industry, so many jobs and lives impacted by this. So we want to see people back to work and traveling, but as safely as possible. Brian, thank you so much for the information. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.